you've really made it if you've got a Fiat fridge and a little Fiat in Italy back then. Right, this is the other little workshop. So we do the sort of clean stuff in here, but at the minute I'm just storing my own stuff. This is my little Fiat 600, which I originally bought for the Arbath project, but it's in such nice original condition. It's never been painted, never been restored, so I just keep it, like it, and just cherish it really. I love it. I love this little car. My dad had one of these, and it comes from Florence, which is where Mum and Dad were on honeymoon. So I always slightly romantically think of them seeing this thing pattering by and sort of saying, "Oh, it's just like our one back home." But yeah, there, you never know. But yeah, it certainly existed and was in Florence when they were there. So who knows what happened? Who knows if they saw it? So this is lovely, this darling original mileage. Yeah, lovely thing, beautiful thing. But we'll do a film on this one day. We'll do more about it another day. This is a bit of fun, Fiat fridge. So these are another one of my little bits of silliness, collecting these. But yeah, this is obviously of the same era. There's that. So you know, you've really made it if you've got a Fiat fridge and a little Fiat, haven't you? You know, in Italy back then, when the economy was being put back together, being able to buy a fridge and a car. I know it's an economy car, but to have any car would have been very special, you know, for people to be able to do that when the economy, you know, from the 50s on, they're trying to get, you sort things out after the war and get going again. Yeah, so yeah, a bit of fun. And this actually has the Fiat bolts on it, the same bolts as the car has with the Fiat written on them, like the ones I use. You know, I've said this before, haven't I, about how I keep the stock and I have Fiat bolts for so that I can put them on the cars for repairing. So there we are. There's a Fiat bolt, and then here we go. We've got a little box here of the little 6mm bolts with our Fiat written on them. So exactly the same but smaller with the Fiat written on them. And then if we come round here, we can see them being used on it. So exactly the same bolts used for it. So, you know, but as I say, you know, if they were making bolts, Ferrari used Fiat bolts, you know. Fiat had huge production capability back then. So they were making stuff for them. Now, I'm not sure what era Ferrari started using the Fiat bolts. It might have been a bit later, because it's certainly, you know, we sort of looked at them on the 308, didn't we, when we were doing that job. On that Campbell job, we were looking at them. So I don't know at what point Ferrari did use them for bolts. So, you know, I'm sure some of you Ferrari people say, "Oh, they didn't use them on a GTO." I mean, the original 64 GTO. I don't know. Perhaps they did. Who knows? Then Maserati stuff. So, yeah, the Mistral is the 3.7. This is the one I'm making the other sets of seals for. This was originally in gold. So this will be very handsome in its gold colour, won't it? That's the engine for it, that's the cylinder head for it, and there's the 4 litre out of the Maggioli coupe, which is next door. Various Arbath parts, so there's an Arbath transaxle there, 5-speed transaxle going in the other car, in the project car. This is a Fiat school engine, so if you're doing theory, when you're doing your driving test theory, this is the thing that sort of show you the cutaway of how, you know, the car operates that you're learning to drive in. And of course, back in the day, a Fiat 600 was quite often used for learning to drive in. So yeah, that's why they would do these. And then everything's all chrome plated and nice. It needs a clean, you know, obviously the chrome's got a bit rusty, but with a clean up, that'll come up lovely. And then the Fiat oil, I used to buy it like that in a tin. A friend of mine gave me that for my collection of bits, and then various other bits to do with Maserati and Arbath and so on. And and our little baby Benelli engine, isn't it? That's the one for the Benelli that we just saw was missing. Well, it's not missing, it's here. So that's that. Various bits of induction and injection systems for the various Maseratis I'm working on, because as we know, they've got the Lucas fuel injection. And my Lambretta. That was a wedding present. I've had this for a long time now, because I've been married a little while. No, I haven't got around to fixing it. But I have actually bought things. So I've got some new old stock side panels for it, because it's missing those. This come out of an Italian scrapyard. My mate Lincoln in Italy found it for me, and then brought it over in the back of his car when he came over from a wedding, and presented it to me. Yeah, and I haven't got round to it. I'm a bit busy. And then here we have, this will be my Arbath engine. So this is the one that's going to go in the Arbath project. So there we got beautiful tube exhaust, made by the guys that used to make them back in the day. So this isn't tube that's bent, sandcast, bent type of, well, not sandcast, they sand fill them, don't they, and bend them. So it's not tube, this is actually a sheet. So it expands as it goes out, it gets wider. So as your exhaust gases expand, they can expand out into it. So it actually has a seam all the way around the back of it. So it's made out of a sheet rather than a tube, So normally you get like a tube, like these bits would be tube, and then bent, and then, but this is all hand formed. You can see the welds where it's all hand formed. But this tube would be a normal bit of tube because it's parallel, it's straight. So's this bit, but these aren't. So it's fatter here and thins out towards the cylinder head. So as the gases come out, it allows them to expand into it. Then that allows it to be a proper megaphone, proper noisy thing, isn't it? That's the genuine Arbath dipstick they used to use. They used to screw them into the block. So I've got to cut a thread in the block to use that. And then you have a little nut you can do it up with. And then this is running on the Cougar Fisher fuel injection. So we've got a fuel injection pump here, Cougar Fisher, and then we've got a slide throttle body here that it's going to use. So I've got to make the manifold, and various things have got to be done for it. So this is just roughed out. And then I've got a more sort of road-based exhaust, which will be this one, which is another genuine Arbath part. It's even got the original Arbath packaging. So this will be utilised, and that will replace that can, if I want to use it on the road. It'll be a bit quieter. Well, that won't be much quieter, will it? It'll be very noisy still. But that's a genuine Arbath part, which is, it was actually from a Mercedes. So it's quite a big thing. It's a fairly big bore, but it'll work well on this. It'll be quieter than that, but it will still wake you up in the mornings, won't it? Still, I won't be commuting in it, will I, anyway? That's that. So that's what we're working on. So you remember, this is what I was making all these bits of brass trim for, isn't it? And these, these were the things we made little videos about. And if you haven't seen those videos, go and have a look at them. They're earlier videos. So, everything's gradually being worked on, always being worked on. And we've been filming it. And we've been filming it for a year now. So there's quite a sort of back catalogue of various things. Now, not every car's still here. Thankfully, some stuff's been finished and gone out, but some of it will be here for a little while. So you can, if you want to watch it and follow it, there'll be things to see and come back for. Another little Arbath part, that's the Corello unit, and that's the oil filter. I was saying that there's an remote oil filter on the back of the Arbath. That's the Corello unit. So that's the oil filter, and that's the Arbath bit that marries it up. Anyway, and then that has all the pipework goes onto it. Runs into the engine, as it were, and that bolts that bit that I was saying about. So yeah, that's that. Got a Corello, another Cougar Fisher pump. I thought I ought to have this come up quite cheap, so I thought I'd grab it whilst it's available. So that was that. So I grabbed them too. Front clip off of the Maggioli coupe. That's that. So that's in here being stored whilst we wait. That's got to go back on, hasn't it? Well, I've got to repair it first. So yeah, lots to do. I'll be busy for a little while yet, won't I? And you can keep checking in. That's why we're not running out of things to film, because I'm not running out of work, am I? But I can't work all hours, so I'll say good night.